So it feels like when I'm talking to people about ribs, there's a lot of one-way streets. I don't think it has to be the case, right? Baby backs or St. Louis, peach paper, butcher paper, or foil. So I want to try some things that I don't normally do. I've never just wrapped with foil, and usually, I don't know, I guess I'm 50-50 a baby back St. Louis guy. Let's do a St. Louis style rib wrapped in foil. Here we go. Grill stabilized at 300 degrees, and we're going to sneak a little apple chunk in there and put a deflector shield in there. But when we approach the ribs, first thing we want to do, my humble opinion, is take the membrane off. Fortunate for us, the membrane has already been removed here, so we're going to go straight on with the seasoning. Today I've chosen Kunami. What I like about it is it's salty, it's sweet, and it's spicy. The first three ingredients are turbinado sugar, salt, and black pepper. We're just going to evenly coat both sides. Beautiful. Seasoning always works better with sound effects. All right, we've got a little bit of wispy blue smoke happening right here. That's what we want. Combustion, clear, blue smoke. We've got our ribs on. I like to start them presentation side down first. There's a little bit more fat there. I want to begin the rendering process. Let's go ahead and close the dome. Again, we're stabilized at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and I want to give them about 45 minutes. I might even peak at 30 just to see how the caramelization's going, but at 45 minutes generally is when I flip. All right, let's take a look for caramelization. Beautiful. I can tell by the way this looks that everything's pushing up. Things are getting tighter. We've got some bones shoring up. Look at this side. Some of that marrow's starting to come out. Nice smoke adherent. Little bit of grill marks there. Beautiful. Now we'll set it just like this. Get a nice bit of caramelization on the bottom there. Set all that seasoning. Let it tack up again. Probably looking at another 35 to 40 minutes on this side before we wrap. So whether you're just starting out or you've been doing ribs for eons, a reminder, okay? We're at 300 degrees. We like the bark on both sides. We're at internal temperature of 165 Fahrenheit. I'm gonna give you a big cheat code here. That's the same for my pork butt. That's the same for my ribs. That's the same for my brisket. Good caramelization on each side, 165. It's time for the Texas crutch. I don't care if you're using aluminum foil or paper. Now, the drawback from using aluminum foil is it's not breathable. So it's a little harder to get that bark. But if we up our temperature a little bit, we'll get there. That's a dangerous game to play. I don't tell people to chase temperatures, all right? But again, 165 at 300 degrees generally happens within the 2.5 to 3.5 hour mark. Depending on the size of the meat that you're doing. Let's go ahead and slice some, I'm gonna have to fight the wind here, but let's slice some butter pads.
Oh, that's technique.
Well, watch this, you'll love this. 1,
Wow.
2, 3, yeah, not my first rodeo, and 4, all right? Play in the wind, you got to use everything you got. Now we're gonna slice this 1, 2, 3, 4 because the wind's coming from this direction. Boom, we'll just leave that right there. Now we got time, okay? I'm gonna put the meat side down. Let's take a look. I'll show you where we're at. Ooh la la. Yeah, this is great. You can kind of always give it a little wobble too. Like it's not breaking by any means, but we got some bone showing here. We're winning. Now we're going straight on that butter. I mean, this just looks fabulous. You know, if you like a little bite to your rib, you could do it right now. To be honest with you, it's too much of a bite, but you could. And we're gonna go over one. You know what, because we don't want that meat side to caramelize, what if we did this? What if we gave it an extra wrap, because we know the butter's here. Let's give it an extra kind of insulation on the meat side with that fold over. And that'll just give us a little bit more of an air gap, not much, all right? We're gonna go ahead and put this rib side down for about 10 minutes and then we'll flip. But we're gunning for a temperature of about 200 degrees, okay? Ribs are always tough in restaurants because 50% of the population wants it falling off the bone, 50% of the population wants it to have a bite. So you're wrong no matter what you do in the restaurant. Cook it to the way you like it at home. That's a beautiful thing, okay? No matter what your guests say, you're in the driver's seat here. So we're gonna take these to about 200, pull them off, let them rest, and then give them a bite. It's gonna be a beautiful thing no matter what we do. We've already won the game. You're doing great. So it's been 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and I'd say take a look, but we'll just give it a flip. And I can tell by that bend right there, they're getting close, okay? Remember, that was rib side down just now, and now we're meat side down, the presentation side down where the butter is. So we'll give that 10 minutes before we give a sneak peek. What we don't want, especially with this foil, is to let it sit in that butter and get over browned and caramelized. That's what happens when paper or foil begins to stick to the meat. So we want to avoid that. So let's give it 10 minutes at just under 300 degrees at this point. And we're going to pull these off, temp them, let them rest, slice into them. All right, team. Here they are, the final reveal. And like I said, ribs are not a one-way street. You made ribs before and you made them 1,000 times and that's the way you make your ribs. But this is different. Branch out a little, live a little, you know, try something different. Let's see what we've got here. Yo. No sauce necessary, St. Louis style ribs. Pretty darn tender. Let's give them a flip and a slide out. It's a good looking rib. That looks succulent. That looks pristine. If you were doing a sauce, now would be an appropriate time to tack that sauce on and throw them back. But I'm telling you, these are no sauce necessary, no nonsense kind of ribs. If you're just starting out, I might, instead of cutting them from the top like I am, I'd suggest flipping it over and you can really see that bone right there, and it's much easier. Because it's always, when you're first starting out, it's at a bit more of an angle than you think it is. So just by seeing it from the bottom here, makes it much easier. And then there's that feather bone on the end that I always like to pull instead of cut off. Not always, but sometimes it's there. But look how that just wants to fall off. Great caramelization. I mean, that would be my bite right there. That is a phenomenal looking rib. Look at that. That's like Thor's hammer. That's a meaty St. Louis style rib. This was a lot of fun. I didn't mind the foil. I didn't mind it at all. I didn't trust myself to leave it on there as long as I would leave it when it was wrapped in butcher paper. But I think we got a great result here. Let's go ahead and give it a taste and see what we think. So if you're a beginner or new to Kamado Joe grilling, this should be encouraging to you. I'm not gonna say there are no wrong ways to do ribs, but there are 1,000 right ways to get it on the money, right? That was a great bite. That was a great tenderness there. That was a great big bold flavor. We could have used butcher paper. We could have used aluminum foil. There's no stopping you now. All right, you got the keys to the kingdom. Go have a good time. Don't over caramelize anything. If you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed shooting it for you, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and please do leave us a comment. We love reading and responding to those. And as always, from our backyard to yours, cheers and happy grilling.